Okay, today we are working on an 06 Mercedes-Benz E350, it looks like. This has got a 722.9 transmission in it, and I just want to show you how these things shift. If you're looking at some scan tool data, these things is actually a 7-speed transmission, but when you, if you look at the scan tool here, see if I can get where you can see it here. I'm in drive right now. I'm on the interstate getting ready to take off. And you'll see that when I select drive, this thing actually, let me get this thing what it looks like, actually starts off in second gear. I'm going to go to neutral right now, park, reverse, and then back to drive. And when drive, you're in second gear. So this thing actually starts off in second gear. And the way it works is it's designed to do that. If you romp down on the accelerator pedal really hard from a stop, it kicks down into first gear. So I'm going to do that here and show you what we're talking about. So you're at a dead stop, and this is usually for like if you're on a real hard pull, if you have a lot of weight in the car or something like that, you'll use this range. Most people, you never use it. So I'm going to accelerate from a dead stop, max out the throttle pedal. And you'll see right there that it went to first gear, and it's actually malfunctioning when it goes to first. It's slipping at times. We'll try it one more time here. And you'll see it right there. Okay, that's first gear. Okay, so this vehicle actually came in with a couple speed sensor codes and a couple internal transmission codes, as you can see right here on the ticket. So what we're trying to determine is whether this thing has speed sensor problems or internal transmission concern. And also whether or not it's a a 6-speed or 7-speed transmission, because they put both the 6-speed and a 7-speed in these Mercedes on this year model. And as you can see by the scan tool, when I took off, this one's actually a 7-speed. It takes off, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Okay, so we've recycled our key now, and we're starting off on a new road test again. So we're going to go ahead and select drive, and you'll see that it starts off in second gear. We've already showed you how we get first gear. So we're going to go ahead and road test this thing now and see how many speeds this thing has and how it shifts. So we started off in second, we shifted to third. Now we're in fourth. Let me get the camera up here where you can see it. And now we should be in fifth. We are. And now we're in sixth. Okay, and we just hit 7th right there. So this is a 7-speed vehicle, 7-speed shifting unit. And the problem this thing is having is at times it will slip when it's in 7th gear, and it also slips. Of course, you've seen that earlier when I romped down it on first gear. It flew out of gear. And sometimes it won't do it. Now we're looking at our speed sensors right here, and these are the codes that we were getting. You can see these things. And they look fine. Everything looks good there. Okay, it's a little bit better angle right here. So we're cruising down the interstate now. We're in 7th gear. It's driving fine at this time. It's a very intermittent problem. Our speed sensors are working fine, but when it did act up, it acted up in 7th gear. It almost felt like it binded up, and the speed sensors were reading properly at the time. So we're going to lean more towards an internal transmission problem with this vehicle. We've also went ahead and dropped the pan on it, took the transmission pan off, and we've seen some excessive metal in these things. These things run very clean. They're very clean running units. With the mileage this thing has on it, it looks like it's got, well, it's only got 120,000 on it. It's kind of really low for Mercedes to have transmission concern. But from the looks of the pan and the way this thing is acting, we're going to say it's got internal transmission concern. Okay, so I will want to tell you that these Mercedes transmissions, the 722.6, 722.9, when you see those speed sensor codes, a very common failure with these things is the part called the conductor plate. It sits on top of the valve body. There's a lot of videos that talk about this plate and the valve body and replace me another plate by removing the valve body. So I'm not going to go into that on this video, but that's a very common concern with these things. So when we first see the speed sensor codes, that's the first thing we think about. But this particular vehicle, the way it's acting on the road test, with it slipping out when you romp down a first gear, and in neutral, or binded up with me on, and when I went to 7th gear one time, felt like it was going to, almost felt like you're hitting the brakes kind of thing. I'm leaning more towards the internal transmission concern on this one, not to mention the way the pan looked. So thanks for watching. Have a great day. Like and subscribe.